And a good evening, everybody, and welcome to Beach Talk Radio, episode number day 6. Hurricane Ian recovery update day 6. We have a action-packed show for you with 3 guests and a lot of information to pass along. And what we're going to do every night, as we mentioned last night, is get you going with the updates from what we learned today. And we're always going to start the first update with what Chief Ron Martin has told us from Fort Myers Beach about the search and the rescue, because everybody wants to know when they can get back on the beach. You are still not allowed over the bridge. It is still a search and rescue operation. They did have a bit of a slowdown because there were some issues with some down power lines, and FPL had to go in there to make sure that everything was safe. So they continue with that. And the other thing that Chief Martin mentioned was that if you have a missing or loved one that you are still searching for or waiting to hear from, the number to call is 1-800-RED CROSS. That's 1-800-RED CROSS, and they will help you out. There's a system set up for that, so you should have called that number already because we posted it earlier, but if you didn't, you can call 1-800-RED CROSS. The second update, Adam Botana called in earlier today and let us know that you should all be on the lookout for scammers now, because it is the time where you'll see nefarious behavior on the part of contractors and other folks that are trying to take advantage of you. Everybody's emotional and they're looking to fix things quickly, and so he wants you to make sure that you watch out for what you sign for, or give people money in advance would be the wrong thing to do right now. Probably you want to work with, do I have to control your mic too, or you want to control yourself? You're right in front of it.
Do that. Don't, like, if somebody asks you for half the money up front, don't do that.
Yeah. And if you know a friend that's using a contractor that everybody trusts, that's licensed and insured, then that sounds like the way to go. There's not anything you can really do right now because you cannot get back on the beach. Number 3, if you need an attorney because you're having issues getting through to FEMA, or you got rejected by FEMA, or you just want somebody to navigate through the process of the application to apply for FEMA relief, you need to send me an email, and I will send you the contact information for an attorney that we used and we trust, and they will take good care of you. They cannot solicit for business, so I'm going to give you the information, and then you can contact them if you want. The system set up to deliver clothes to the thrift store is working great, according to Eric Tibbs. So they're going to keep that rolling. What you're going to do if you want to deliver the clothes so that they can give them away is you're going to deliver them, and I'll post this all, and I'll tell you where I'm going to post it all. 23222 Marsh Landing Boulevard in Estero. You're not going to take it. You're not going to mail it. You can take it to the Kiwanis location as long as it's open. But if you want to mail it from anywhere across the country, we're going to give you that address, and we're going to post that address, and I'm sure somebody else will post that address also. But you can mail boxes from across the country, and what they're doing is they're giving it all out for free to people that need clothes, and a lot of people need clothes. Everything that we mentioned, from the website addresses to the phone numbers to call to the places to mail things, they're all now going to be transferred to the Beach Talk Radio News website. So in the next day or so, hopefully tomorrow, you're going to be able to see everything over there. So anything that we mentioned, I keep getting aggravated because I've got pages and pages of notes, and then I can't find what I need to find, and I want to make sure we pass it along to you. It's all going to be posted up there. It's not like there's any news that's taking place right now except for this, so we're going to load that site up. And the final update, well, almost final update, is we did speak to Dane Eagle's office. He's the Secretary of the Florida Department of Economic Opportunity, and we're hoping to have him on the show tomorrow. If it's not at 6 o'clock, because, their schedules are a little tougher because of everything that's going on, it will just be a live pop-in with short notice that will pop on Facebook and let you know. But we really want to talk to Dane Eagle because he's got control of a lot of the money. And we know that people on the beach need money, and we want to make sure that they continue to know that you folks need money. Now, speaking of money, the last update here is...
Right, so
Go ahead.
Do my update at the end?
Yeah, because we have guests, dear. We have guests. The last update is that we are working with the Community Foundation and the Women's Club. Oh, by the way, Susie says your hair looks amazing.
Listen, if you see me sometimes smile, and I'm looking at the comments, so I apologize.
You're not laughing at me. Is that what you mean? We are working with the Community Foundation and the Women's Club. Everybody's joining together, and there is a website, a page that was created so everybody can apply for funding, and it's going to be like $500 a month that you're going to get as long as you can put in your name and your address, proof of address, because we want all the money that we're collecting to go right back to the community. So many of you have said that $200 or $300 or $500. We gave $500 today to a lady who needed to get back to work, and she had a small baby, and everybody's so grateful. But this website is going to make it fast. They're streamlining things so it hopefully can turn around to you within 24 hours, and then you can apply for it in 30 days. You can apply for it the next month. So, I mean, it's not a lot, but at least it's better than zero. And it's something that maybe I know, and something that maybe can help you right now and get the things that you need. So, that's going to be something that I'm going to post right after the show. And then we're going to pin it to the top of the Facebook page. So stay tuned for that. And earlier today, it's been crazy. Earlier today, we had at the 9 o'clock check-in, our total of money raised for everybody on the beach was $110,000. $110,000. As of 5 o'clock tonight, it's $116,000. So we made another $6,000 for you in the time from 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock. So keep spreading the word that you can continue to donate by going to the Venmo account or the PayPal account that you see on the screen there, and 100% of the money is going to go back to the people on Fort Myers Beach. Before we get to John, we're going to take a quick call. We're going to talk to Brian Nagel from Shuckers because they have an event going on that we want to tell everybody about that starts tomorrow. Brian, of course, is the manager of Shuckers and the Cottage Bar on Fort Myers Beach. And hopefully he remembers that we're giving him a call. But they have an event where they're going to be set up at the Lee County bus place. What's that by the thrift shop? What's that called?
Oh, the
drop and pickup. The drop area. He's going to be set up there, and people can come by on Pine Ridge, and people can come by and they can pick up whatever they need. I think there's going to be food there, and there's going to be other products there, and so we'll try and catch up with Brian. But we have the whole they have a whole page of information on that we'll be posting afterward too. So while we wait for Brian, we're going to pull in John here. John Bankert has lost his house, which was by the Pink Shell. And he also owns a business. The name of the business is CPR Tools. And the reason we wanted to bring John on was he made a pitch yesterday that we just couldn't refuse. And John, first, thanks for coming on, and tell us a little bit about your situation with your house and where you were located and where you were at the time of the storm.
Yeah, thanks, Ed. Hi, Kim. Nice to see you both. So we were down between Best Western and Pink Shell. We had a stilt house. We were about 12 feet up in the air. We watched our house sinking underwater on our ring cams until power went out. And then, of course, we thought the worst, and we verified the worst with some of the great videos that you guys are posting in the pictures. We saw our stilts, but obviously no house, and we are very anxious to get back to the beach and see if we can find any memories from our beach house, because we certainly did love it. It wasn't a rental. We stayed there, and we have another house in LaBelle, so we're there now, but we certainly are saddened by what happened.
But I'm glad that you're safe. So you rode the storm out in LaBelle?
We did. We had some friends of ours from the beach here. I know you know Greg, him and his wife and their son and their dogs came here. And then we also had some seniors who live in a 55 and over community in LaBelle that are actually mobile homes. And we had a few of them come over and spend the hurricane day and night with us as well to keep them safe. But everything here in LaBelle was fine. We lost power for quite a while, but other than that, we have no issues.
So, John, tell us about your business, what you do.
Yeah, so we have a data recovery business right downtown Fort Myers, which, by the way, in Irma was totally trashed. We lost our roof during Irma, and we had about a foot and a half of water in the entire building. So we've lived through this multiple occasions, so we understand what people are going through. And what we typically do when Katrina happened, when Irma happened, when Sandy happened, is we offer a 50% discount for people who, when they get their computers, they get their storage, whatever that is, a laptop, a computer, a phone, a USB drive, whatever it is, we typically offer to those affected folks a 50% discount on anything that we can get back for them. But since we're family and friends and neighbors here on the beach, we want to do all of that for free. So if you find your computer when you're allowed to get back on the beach, or your phone, or your USB hard drive, or your thumb drive, or whatever it is, you can contact us, and we'll do our darndest to get your data back. We've been in business for about almost 40 years, since 1987. We do this for the government. We do it for commercial people, and we're very good at what we do. So it's not the time now, but certainly when it is the time, it's nice to get some memories back. And most of our memories today are digital, so it's nice to get those back.
Now, I would think, I'm not the computer person for sure in this group, but I would think that if something got wet, like that's it. So you're saying that there is hope, there is a possibility that people can recover, because you're right. I mean, people don't have their pictures, that they oftentimes don't even develop them. They keep them there. So you're saying it is possible.
Yeah, we've been doing this for a long time, and like I said, we do a lot of government work at our facility. So we've had drives that have been in salt water that the Navy sent us that have been in salt water for 2 years that we've recovered the data back. So bullet holes. We've had folks who've wives and husbands, spouses are arguing and run over USB drives with the lawnmowers to get back at each other. We had a gentleman whose wife threw his laptop in the Caloosahatchee. So we've pretty much seen it all and heard it all, and we're good at what we do, and we're going to try and help people out by getting those memories back again when they're ready. I mean, I know now's probably not the time, but when they're ready. And one of the other things that I don't, this is something my wife and I talked about. We own the company together. We'd like to set up a spot, and maybe it's our vacant lot with our 8 poles standing at it down at the beach, but where people, if they find computers, because you're going to find phones, you're going to find computers, and maybe we need a spot where we can bring those, and then we can try and recover the data and see whose they are and find out a person's name and then contact them that way. So that's another thing that we haven't done that obviously in the past because we haven't been in the eye of the storm here, but I think that's something that we can look for. So maybe somebody who, like us, their entire house and everything washed away, maybe my computer, which was at the house, is in somebody else's yard on the other side of the water. So if we find those kinds of things, we're trying to figure out how we can assemble all of that and then get it to our shop downtown.
Well, I think that that's important to let people know that if they find something that isn't theirs in an area, whether it's in their area or while they're cleaning up, don't assume that it's, irrevocably damaged, and to maybe have a drop spot at your place where, somebody can drop it off. And, if it is, if fantastic, but if not, at least you gave it a try.
That's right. And that's the biggest thing with data recovery is a lot of times people come to us, they've been to other companies, they've been whatever, and they, I just want to try. And so we'll give it our all. A lot of times we get the data back. Sometimes we don't. It's sad when it doesn't, for us as well. But if we don't try, we don't know. And, again, we're going to do everything we can, and we'll offer all the labor and all that stuff for free for these folks. But, at the end of the day, it may not happen either. So,
and Megan makes a great point. She said on the data recovery, that could also be pictures of proof of personal property, tax documents, other important information that you store on your computer.
I'm one of the dummies that took the pictures and downloaded them to my beach computer last Sunday before we left. So,
right.
Yeah. So, and again, yeah, now my stuff's gone. So hopefully I'll be able to get back on the beach and find it somewhere.
So the moral of the story is that when you get back to your house and you find your computer and it looks like it's waterlogged or underwater, save it, because you guys can help out. Now, last night when you sent me a message, you changed the price from last night to tonight. You said $50 last night, and now you're saying free. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, the $50 is really to cover our cost for putting it back on a, on a USB drive. I have one here. So, these typically cost us around $50, maybe, 45, 60, whatever. So, in the past, that's kind of what we've done. But my wife and I were talking about it today. And for the beach folks, I mean, we've eaten down there for, we've been to every place, Pete's and Shuckers and, our favorite places. And it breaks our heart and, just devastates us. So anything we can do, and this is what we do. So, you guys are doing a great job. We certainly appreciate it. Everybody in this house, follows you, is glued to the computer when you guys are posting things. And this is what we do. So, it's something that we can give back.
Thank you for that. And maybe we can get somebody to donate the thumb drives when it comes around to that. So there is no cost to it. I mean, everybody's been so great looking for things to donate. Sometimes you run out of things to tell them that we need, and then something pops up. So that's pretty cool that you're doing it for free.
What kind of backup is that? Like, what is the correct terminology?
So
the brick that you showed.
So this is a USB external drive, right? It just plugs into,
Okay.
plugs into your computer USB, and you can copy all your files to it. That's what I use this one as a backup here at home. So that's all it is. It depends on, they can run anywhere from $15 if they're real small to, $500 if they're real big. And we do that on the, based on the amount of data that we recover for the customer. A lot of times also we'll post it in the cloud, and there's no charge. But in this case, people probably aren't going to have access to that for a while. So, we're happy to do that as well. If they want to have it in the cloud, we can drop it in the cloud for them to download as well, maybe at a friend's or something. But again, I think the best way is this, and then you always have it with you, and you can upload it to your own cloud when you get a chance at a time later.
John Benkert, did I say it right, John?
You said it right, and if you didn't, it doesn't matter. I've been called everything. I was in the Air Force for 20 years, so I've been called everything.
Oh boy, thank you for that. John Benkert is from CPR Tools, and I've been hoping that somebody would type the name of your website address in the chat box so people can check it out. How can they? Are you starting a waiting list? Maybe how do we get people in touch with you?
Yeah, so the best thing to do is hit our website, and you can email info at cprtools.com. You can also call us 239-464-3282, and I can send that to you guys if you want. We're located downtown on Hendry Street. People can walk in as well. We're open. We've got power right across from Fort Myers Police Department, so we're one of the first groups to get power back down there. And we certainly we'll talk to everybody, and we'll do what we can. Just be patient with us if we get inundated. But our engineers are also local and live here, and everything. They're going through the same things that we are going through. So,
how long does it take? Is there an average time that it takes for you guys to do that?
Yeah, that would vary, right? So things that have been in the water, don't apply power to them. Let me throw that out right away. Don't think that your laptop looks good and it's got a little mud on it, and you dust it off and you go, oh, I'm just going to plug this in. Certainly, please don't do that. That makes everybody's life much harder. But it can be anywhere from, 24 hours to, some of the ones we get in with bullet holes that may take 4 months. I see my wife just posted there the number and stuff, but
she's keeping an eye on you.
Yeah, trust me, 30 years. So it really depends, Kim. It depends on the damage. It could be a day. It could be, 1,000 days. It really just depends.
Well, I think that was good for you to say what you just said, which is don't plug it in, because
you would have plugged it in.
Yeah. I would have been like, let me see. So does that like fry stuff up? And
yes. Anything that's been wet, you've got all those electronics in there, your printed circuit board, if it has dirt and mud, plugging that in and applying power just wrecks everything and makes our job much, much harder. So definitely don't want to do that. The best thing, if it is yours and you find it, if it isn't yours and you find it, you want to bring it to us or send it to us, we can arrange that as well. But certainly don't plug it in when you get power. That's the worst thing you can do.
So, John, what is your plan to rebuild your house?
We just got the bad news today that our insurance probably isn't going to cover very much of it, and we got
why is that?
So.
Why is that?
You know, I don't know. We would need to get my wife on here and let her yell and scream for probably 4 days about that because she handles all that. But she was nice enough while I was at work this afternoon to text me and let me know that, it's probably going to be a few years before we can rebuild and get our lives back together down there. But by golly, we're going to do it. We love it. We live down there, and we're there continuously. And I wouldn't want to be anywhere else, to be honest with you. My blood pressure. I always tell everybody my blood pressure is about 40 points lower when I'm on the beach than when I'm here in LaBelle or at work. So,
Well,
Now, I just wanted to ask, you said your house was on stilts, correct?
yes.
So how old was your home, or was it just built on stilts? Yeah. How old is it?
Yeah. So our home was built in the 50s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we'd done a lot to try and shore it up to protect against this type of thing. But
Yeah.
I literally we were downloading Ring camera video from the front door, and our Ring camera was probably 16 feet high, and it was 2 feet below that at one point before we lost it. It's just
Wow.
crazy. It was just crazy. Then we got the Ring alarm. The beach door, the sliding glass doors had been breached, and then the Ring stayed battery operated for about another 30 minutes, and then it went away. So
That's got to be torture to watch. I mean, it just had to be brutal.
it definitely was. But wait, you know what? A lot of people went through it.
Yeah.
We have another place to go to, so I'm certainly not comparing our situation to other folks who lost everything and have no other place. So we're lucky.
All right, man. Well, we appreciate it. And thanks so much. And we will post your information. And again, if you're looking to save your computer to see if it's savable anyway, when you get back to your house, don't throw it out. Hold on to it because John
Don't plug it in.
and his company are going to offer their services for free. And we're going to try and rally up some of the USB, what are they called? USB what?
USB hard drives.
USB hard drives for
USB
everybody.
free.
Yeah, one other
Go
thing,
ahead.
we own a cybersecurity company as well, and Greg had just gotten an email a couple days ago, and I think I sent it to you, and I know you get inundated, a phishing email already, and I know you just talked about this while I was waiting in the background, posing as an insurance adjuster, asking for their pertinent information because they had lost it. Do not email those people. Don't respond to that. The only people you should be dealing with is your insurance person. Call them, them. Don't fall for that stuff. And it just sickens me to no end that people are doing that already. It just sickens me.
All right, man. Well, thanks for your time and thank you for what you're doing for everybody on the beach.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate you. Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right, CPRtools.com. And before we bring in Brian again, we wanted to let you know that at the end of the show, we're going to show you a video from the beach. Kim took a ride up to the beach on a helicopter, and we have the video from that that we're going to show you.
Cindy and Tim Hill. That
Yep.
was very, very nice.
Yep. And we're also going to talk to Blake Chapman from State Insurance USA about insurance because that's going to be a big deal. So let's see if we can get Brian on. It's got something really cool coming in the next few days.
Good.
Hey, Brian, you are live on the air.
Oh, how we doing, guys? How we doing? Thank you so much for having me. I'm sorry that I missed your first call there. I'm wrangling my own children. I was helping out with some of the neighbor children. So sorry about that.
No worries. No worries. Brian Nagel from Shuckers in the Cottage. And Brian, you guys lost everything. Your team lost everything, and you're still doing something special for the community. Tell everybody what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. So besides raising money for my staff through our donor box, which you can find at our webpage at shuckersfmb.com, tomorrow we are, can you hear that? Sorry about that. Yeah. Tomorrow we are starting, it's the thing, we're mobilizing one last time our staff. I can't live with the fact of my employees' last memory of our place being this wasteland and this destruction. So we're all coming together one last time. We're starting tomorrow, Wednesday at 10 a.m. At 11101 Summerlin Square Drive. That's the beach park and ride at the corner of Pine Ridge and Summerlin Road. And there's a lot of big awnings there, so it's a great spot, open spot, a little bit away from the chaos of Walmart and all everything that's all set up down there with all the first responders. We wanted to give people a little bit easier access. You can get there from Pine Ridge, from Summerlin, Gladiolus. Just makes it a whole lot easier doing it like this. And it's a pickup and drop off. We are getting tons of food, water, clothing. We got US Foods helping us out. We have Mangoes over on the East Coast helping us out. This is in partnership with Pink Shell and some other really great managers that I know, their staff, my staff. We're doing everything that we can here to take care of our own, take care of our customers, our regulars that are there for us year round. And we can't stop. We can't stop. There's no building to go to, but we are a family and we are a team. And we're not going to stop doing whatever we can, at least for right now, before we have to think about that next step.
Have you had a chance to think about whether there'll be a rebuild, or is it too soon?
Right now, towards it, but it's too soon to really go there yet because, there's a lot of things that come into play. There's the coastal construction line. We were built in 1921. That line ran halfway through our building. There's all the insurance. We can't even get on the island right now. We got the wind adjuster, the flood adjuster, that all these guys, they all need to come out, even though we know it's 100% loss, but mostly a formality. But, there's just, we can't even do that yet. So we got another week before we can even thinking about the decision that's going to be made. So, just everybody be patient. But as soon as we really get all the facts at hand, and we meet and decide the best course, we will let the public know as soon as we can.
Now, Brian, were you able to get on the beach?
Yes.
Okay, and retrieve any memorabilia? Were you able to find anything?
No. Not really. I was looking for a couple specific things. I got a few things that are really special to me, given to me by some employees. One, I tell you, I brought in a week ago was one of my long-term staff members. She actually followed me from the last restaurant downtown. She went back to visit her grandmother in Kenya and brought me back a real, authentic African spear, and mounted that on my wall. And so definitely some really neat stuff there. But there's nothing. It's all gone. I went down there twice. I found that flag and hung that flag down there. I just didn't feel right leaving it in the rubble and stepping over it. And I got a lot of military in my family. My brother is a retired A-10 fighter pilot. And, I just was thinking that I got nothing left to give my people now. Maybe I can give them just a little bit of hope here, and that we will get through this. So, we all know that's what that flag means.
And for everybody that's listening, that's new from across the country, Brian owns or manages the Shuckers in the Cottage, very popular restaurant and outside bar. They had a cabana outside,
the beach bar,
part of the beach bar. And how many employees do you have, Brian?
At this time, we had 116 employees. And don't forget the cottage. Don't forget the cottage. Live music 7 nights a week.
So 116 employees that you're trying to help and that are trying to find work right now.
Yes. And we got a great team. We really do. And the community has been outstanding. I got a lot of my people are already employed by a lot of other restaurants. I want to give a shout out to Rusty's. They have been really great to my people so far. And it has been overwhelming, the support from the community for us. So we got to pay it forward, because where else are we going to go? We got nothing to clean up.
Mm-hmm.
We just got to help each other.
Well, that's good to hear that other restaurants are hiring. I've gotten a couple of people that have texted me personally in the restaurant, business. And one guy's living in his car and he's like, I just want to work. I need to work. I need to get back on my feet. And so I'll pass on that. Yeah, he should check them.
Jobs, please contact our Shuckers Facebook, and we will do our best to try to place the best people, front of house, back of house, servers, bartenders, barbacks, cooks, we everybody. We got some really good people that some restaurants would be very lucky to have.
So tomorrow from 10 o'clock until 4 o'clock at the county
Park and ride.
Beach Park and Ride. Yep.
So Brian, we'll see you there.
Pine Ridge and Summerlin.
How many days will you be doing this?
At least a week
Oh,
starting tomorrow. I originally, just put out there 4 days because I didn't want it to be too overwhelming. I wasn't sure of the response, the volunteer help I would have received. And it's just, I had a meeting today, my first employee meeting at my sister, let me hold it at her house because it's kind of centrally located there. I was hoping for, 12, 15 people show up. That will be an absolute success. And I had over 30 people there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Someone was asking, Kim Merrill was saying, can we send our pictures to you, Brian? So I'm assuming it's pictures of
when they were
when they were
there.
at your place.
Absolutely. Please send them to our Facebook. And Rocky, she's been there for 2 decades. She's a staple in herself. Roxanne Jakitis. She's been the nighttime cottage bartender over there. She runs and controls our social media.
Yeah.
So please send these to our Facebook, and we would love to share them, post them, tag them, whatever it is we do with them, and we will get them out there. And I tell you that I can't even look yet. I can't even look because I cry.
Yeah.
Where has she found a place to work? Is she employed right now so people can go see her?
Rocky, not yet.
Okay.
It's going to take a little bit of time for Rocky.
Yeah.
She's still living in shock. And this place was a piece of her more than it was a piece of me. And it'll be tough.
All right, man. We'll see you. We'll see you down there. Thanks for doing this, and thanks for coming on, and thanks for everything.
I appreciate it, guys.
All right. Thanks a lot. Brian Nagel from Shuckers. That's tomorrow for at least a week. And you can go down there and see some of the employees that we're so used to seeing at Chuckers and the Cottage Bar and the Beach Bar, and enjoy some food and hang out. All right. Right now we're bringing in one of the most important categories in the next few weeks and months and probably years. Blake Chapman is the CEO of State Insurance USA. And Blake, can you give us an idea? First of all,
how are you?
How are you
doing?
How did the whole storm affect you?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, great to join you for sure. And I actually live out east of 75, so fared pretty well with the home front and things of that nature. But did see the devastation. My childhood home that I grew up in had 3 feet of water in it, and off Island Park Road. So it's been devastating to say the least. Even that's my father still lives in that home. So definitely can feel that on the home front. Personally, my house is okay. And then, we're working with various team members that are across the county, from Fort Myers Beach to Cape Coral to Estero. The whole situation is just devastating to us, to say the least, but doing well. Hey, we're alive and moving forward, and looking forward to getting things as far as claims process for customers, and start some of the rebuild efforts for sure.
Have been filed so far?
I can give you kind of the impact through my agency or whatnot, but we've probably, we were working Saturday and Sunday, of course, but I would say on Thursday was when we started to see an abundance of phone calls, and we're well over a couple thousand within a few days. I would say that was 3 or 4. A lot of sleepless nights and or whatnot, trying to get those processed as quick as we can, or whatnot. But yeah, so several thousands. I've heard numbers from carriers, even of course higher than that, because I'm only one agent, or whatnot. But yeah, so I would say several thousand have been filed. Definitely, for sure.
What is the process, Blake? What should people do? Immediately get on the phone, call their insurance company? I mean, is that take us through the process for people that are basically in shock right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So the best process is this. So inside the policy, it details duties after a loss, and basically what are those steps. So the carriers have catastrophe claims in place. So a lot of times people will look to call the agent, which our office is up and running now. But the best thing to do is to call the carrier itself and to get that process started, because they're there 24/7. Your agency location might have actually sustained some damage, or might have been in one of the harder hit areas. So it might be difficult based on emails and internet and things of that nature to actually reach the agency. But if you go to your policy, it will actually detail in there the 800 number or a way to file online. And most carriers have that ability these days, different than when we experienced a lot of IRMA claims. The online filing is a lot quicker way because some of these hold times can be quite long on many of the carrier sites. But that's the best thing to do. Contact the company first and foremost and let them know that you did have a loss. And I'm recommending if they're in an area where they sustain wind damage and flood damage, if they have a flood policy and a regular homeowner's policy, to file both or whatnot. So those could be two separate companies that could be on those. And that will get you in the line of getting an adjuster assigned. And the other things that we probably get a lot is like, what can I do? Can I start any of the remediation process or any of those things or whatnot? There's a duty in the policies that dictates that, hey, the insured needs to do necessary repairs if they can to protect or preserve the property. So a lot of those things, dealing with like taking out drywall that could cause mold, and those things can definitely be done, or whatnot. But getting the adjuster assigned, especially on some of the heavily devastated area where there maybe is no longer a structure, that's the fastest way to get some of those things done.
People that had older homes, and now to rebuild them, the codes are different. How does the insurance work? How does that work? Is it going to bridge the gap for that cost, or can you explain a little bit about that?
It just really depends on each one of those situations. But, there is a provision in a national flood insurance policy when it comes to flooding that has a increased cost of compliance that could come in to help with some of those things. It's not a substantial amount, but it is an additional coverage that could help with any type of new code upgrades and things of that nature. But yeah, there will definitely be some areas where it might not bridge the gap in some situations for sure, or whatnot. That might be where FEMA could come into play on some of those things. It just really depends on each situation, what we can get covered under the homeowner's policy. If it did have substantial wind damage we had lots of wind in the area, along with, of course, catastrophic flooding, but we did have substantial wind for a extremely long period of time. And so I think that will be something that adjusters will have to take into account whenever they're adjusting these losses, is how long. That was my one takeaway from just being in the storm, is that, my goodness, this storm did not seem to want to leave. And so the substantial amount of wind and water is amazing.
We're going to take a question or two from the audience, Blake. Blake Chapman from State Insurance USA, one of our longest sponsors, is with us. By the way, Blake is somebody you can trust. We always want to be associated with people you can trust so that we can share those folks and advertisers and businesses with you. And Blake is definitely one of those in the community and with us. So, Blake, the question is, what happens for those Fort Myers Beach residents who cannot assess damage yet? You got people waiting outside who haven't been able to get over the bridge, and their houses have been basically destroyed. And what do they do?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. We're getting several from Sanibel Island as well, and Fort Myers Beach. And, my recommendation is to go ahead and file a claim, a catastrophe claim, even from which these will be listed as and labeled as, is that any type of a catastrophe claim does not affect even if it's like, oh, I don't want it to affect my insurance down the road, even if I didn't have damage or anything of that nature. I would go ahead and file those things so that when they do get access, they'll be some of the first that are in line. And a lot of the carriers will probably start to group some of those whenever the adjusters are able to actually go out on islands and things of that nature, for sure. So
we're gonna rapid fire the questions that you hear from the audience as they ask them. Is it filing a claim time sensitive, considering they want pictures when you're 1,000 miles away? Somebody out of town who wasn't back yet, can't get in, and has nobody to take pictures. There's no way to get on the island. What do you say? What do you say to them?
Yeah, I would go ahead and file, and as time, it opens up to get pictures and things of that nature. I have had various other professionals, some home inspectors and things of that nature, that they might actually be able to assist them with getting some of the pictures of the property if they're not able to get there themselves, along with the adjusters and things of that nature as soon as they get access. But yes, I would go ahead and file the claim and explain that to them, that I haven't had a chance to assess it, but based on neighbors and some other evidence in the area. But yes, there's also, I know there's been several local home inspectors that have reached out to me that are typically out there doing new purchase inspections that are saying, hey, is there any way that we can assist your customers? And I think
Great.
that those guys are out there doing what's called a 4-point inspection and wind mitigation inspection all the time. So they're well versed in what they're looking at on homes, not adjusters, but they are well versed as far as a homeowner to look at those 4 main components, which is the roof, the electrical, plumbing, and AC, and can kind of give an overview of what they're dealing with. So that would probably be my best advice, to anybody that's out of state or might be out of state for an extended period of time.
Someone asked, should they file their homeowner's claim first or FEMA? Which one should be first, or doesn't it matter?
I don't believe it matters. I mean, that's my opinion, and I would file both, or what, because that's going to be the one thing where, you might have maximum payouts on some policies and where it's just not going to be enough. And I know that's a hard thing to say, but there just wasn't a policy or anything that could actually have covered some of those devastating things. And so the FEMA would be the best thing to file, and I would do them both at the same time. And then hopefully that, once the policy is maybe exhausted on what the coverage would be there that they paid for, there might be some additional FEMA stuff that could come into play.
A lot of
Someone
questions.
was asking about independent adjusters. Please ask him about independent adjusters. So I assume that there's adjusters that come from your insurance company. Explain that.
Yeah, so that's a private adjuster or an independent adjuster. So when you file a claim with the carrier, it's one of their duties that they send out an adjuster to adjust the loss. But you can hire your own independent private adjuster. There's usually a cost involved with that. And so I was just talking with a customer today, and he's like, do I need to do that? And, my answer was, no, I'd wait till the actual carrier adjuster goes out and assesses the damage, and they factor those things. And if you feel like they're missing things, or there's things that should be added in, having trouble with the carrier, that might be when it's time to contact a private adjuster and see if there's something that's missing. But I wouldn't add that, that added cost to anyone that's working through a loss at the moment, or whatnot. But it's not needed out of the gate. Some people opt to do it right away, but I would say let the carrier's adjuster, the company's adjuster, go out and adjust the loss and see how things worked out there first. And I wouldn't jump the gun to a private adjuster yet.
Another question Jenny asks, what about a claim on a condo that is still standing, but we have no idea about the interior damage because they're in Ohio?
Yeah, great question. Like I said, a catastrophe claim, when I'm saying catastrophe or hurricane, I would go ahead and file that regardless. If there's other units that sustain damage, maybe check with some of the other unit owners that you might know or whatnot, if they were able to get somebody to assess their property. But I don't see anything that would prevent me from filing if I, had a condo or whatnot that I was unsure of. At least you're giving the carrier notice that you potentially had a loss, and as things progress, you get to assess them via private inspector or whatnot. That will, you'll be able to go back. They can open and close claims. I think that's kind of the other misconception, is like, what if I don't open a claim early enough? We've got some statutes of limitations that will allow those to be open for almost 2 years. So,
Okay.
and that's always what if I don't do it soon enough? Well, the policy does say that in the event that you believe you have a loss, your duty is to notify your carrier. And like I said, anything dealing with catastrophe loss it won't be a problem. That those don't affect you down the road. As far as that was nothing that you could have prevented or anything that you could have done wrong, from a negligence standpoint or or whatnot. So they won't affect a customer.
What's if people have homeowners insurance, that does or does not necessarily cover flood?
Correct. Great question. So flood policies. So there is a few in Florida. When I say a few carriers that do have a flood endorsement, but that is rare. That is extremely rare. Most policies, homeowners policies or renter policies or whatnot, will have a exclusion for the peril of flood insurance, which flood will be a separate policy. And there's a couple places you can purchase that. The majority of people will purchase flood insurance through the National Flood Insurance Program. And then there might be another option based on the zone, which would be with a private flood insurance company. Those are pretty much very close when what's covered and what's not. But yes, a separate flood policy, especially in high risk zones, and more where our islands are, those are going to be through the National Flood Insurance or through a private flood insurance company.
Diane, we see what you're doing there. We catch on. That's and we appreciate you being a longtime listener of the show and knowing
Well, he
what that
can't
means.
see it.
I know.
No.
So, Blake, what would cause an insurance company to deny anything that they see on the beach?
What would cause them? Until the adjuster gets out there to adjust the loss. I don't know what would cause them to deny anything on the beach. If they saw that it was strictly flood insurance related and not wind related, that could be one of the potential things that could be denied, or whatnot. But I can't see anything, now, based off, without having adjusters out there and seeing the specific loss for sure.
The adjuster's not going to go on Fort Myers Beach and look at the house and say, I'm pretty sure that was there before this giant hurricane and windstorm came through and flattened your house. It's really just a question of how the policy is written now, right?
Yes, absolutely, for sure.
What they bought.
Somebody said, asking, what does hurricane insurance cover then?
Yeah, I think the hurricane insurance is typically, referencing the homeowner's insurance, but that would be the covered peril, which would be hurricane, which is more the wind part. Whereas in the policy, the way the policy is written, there's an exclusion for flood. And so they have a separate flood policy, or whatnot. Yep.
So it's going to have to be a combination of insurance and FEMA and federal government stepping in and in order to somebody be made whole, which they're probably not going to be, but anywhere close to made whole, it's got to be a combination of people got to get their hands on all kinds of money.
Yes. With this level of devastation, yes, and I think that's a great way to put it. I think it's going to be a combination of those. And many instances, there may be some instances where, somebody really, bought additional things that could come into play, but a majority, there just wasn't a product available for some of the devastation, and that's just the truth.
And what's this 50%, this new 50% rule? Are you familiar with that? The building 50% or something, then you have to, the standards get harder, or I know some people out there know what I mean. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know that every county and jurisdiction, so that's why they're out surveying properties and stuff, things of that nature. If it's totally not there, then yes, that's going to be something that has to be brought back up to whatever the current codes are. But each one of them is going to be looked at by the county, whoever has jurisdiction over that area, when it comes to building codes and things of that nature. And typically it's like a 50% rule, or whatnot. But I would say those are going to be a case by case basis. And that's kind of just my limited knowledge, but what a lot after Hurricane Charlie, or whatnot. But case by case basis, and every one of them will be individual. But if it's totally wiped, clean off the slab, then it's going to have to be brought to the current standards.
And
Somebody was asking if Fort Myers Beach and Sanibel, Pine Island, will they be able to get insurance again if they rebuild?
I can't see why not. I mean, that's my opinion. The only reason I say I can't see why not is because Florida has got islands all the way around it, whatnot. We just happen to be the ones that got unlucky, I guess I would say, or whatnot. But yeah, and so I think it's going to be lots of time. We all know for the rebuilding and those new standards. I mean, the new flood insurance standards and things of that nature have been in place for anything that was going out there, brand new construction and things of that nature. So I think as our structures get built back up to those new current codes, then that's really where the companies are more favorable to write with those new standards. So yeah, I think it might take a little bit of time. But it will come back, and I can't see it being looked at in any other coastal area in the state.
we miss anything, Blake?
I mean, there's a lot of questions, but
Do you think we missed anything? Or I'm sure you want people to call the office, or
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want them inundating your office, or but I don't know. I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
is there a resource that online to kind of answer these kinds of insurance? Like someone asked about timeshares and condos, and there's a lot of questions. So is there a national insurance? I don't know.
There's really not. I mean, the agent's going to be your best advocate for
Okay.
as we work through. And I think I think the one thing that this is kind of just the thinking, the devastation, it hurts us all in the heart, and we're all hurting. I was born and raised in Lee County and born at Lee Memorial Hospital, so this is my hometown, or whatnot. But so I think it's going to be humans helping humans to really, take care of what we need to here. But from an insurance perspective, if they're a customer of State Insurance USA, they can contact us. We have a direct claims email, which is claims@stateinsuranceusa.com. And I would say the other thing is, hey, we're in it for the long haul with you to, the premiums that you paid and the coverages that are there, work through those and make sure those are properly paid out, or whatnot, and work through it with the adjusters and things of that nature. But it will take time, a little bit of patience. There's always a mess whenever at a catastrophe of claims being filed and things of that nature. And I think that things will be put back to order, but it will take a little bit of time.
All right, Blake, thanks so much for your time, and thanks for everything you've done for the community. And we appreciate you coming on and sharing all the details for folks. It's an important thing for everybody to know about, and it's going to be a big part of their lives in the next few months.
Absolutely. Any way I can help, let me know. Take care. Great to see you guys, for sure.
All right,
Thank
Blake
you.
Chapman from State Insurance USA. Always great to have him on, and always nice to see him. And
There's going to be a lot of questions, but
Yeah.
it's a lot.
yeah,
It's a lot. And I understand. I mean, it's a complicated process.
so
And there's so many different units down there. There's homes, there's vacation homes, there's condos, there's timeshares, there's mobile homes. I mean, it's not like where we live, where it's pretty much all houses. So a lot of different scenarios.
So we're gonna before we show the video, Kim went up in the helicopter today with Tim and Cindy Hill from the boat races, which would have started in 2 days, but obviously will not be taking place. So we're gonna show the video of her up in the air. But I did forget one of the updates earlier. Actually, I talked to Councilman Dan Allers. We try and connect every night before the show to see if there's any updates, because he's down, boots on the ground. He rode around today with Ray Sandelli and showing him exactly side streets and all the things that we saw with Dan last time we were down there. And so Ray got a up close and personal look at the island. I think yesterday Myron Donalds took a ride with Dan.
Thank you, Jim.
And so the thing that Dan wanted to kind of give us an update on was they really have coordinated the supplies set up down close to the beach. We were working with the folks at the Island Suites, and that got to be full of stuff. and they went over to where the Dan's business, Island Carts FMB, were located, and they cleaned that out because it had water damage all over the place. So they're going to use that as a storage area with people actually there where they collect the supplies. A lot of you been calling saying, where can I send supplies? Where can I pick up supplies? Well, that's going to be the location. You can drop off supplies between 10 o'clock and 4 o'clock. All the things that we've been talking about, from water to Gatorade, baby wipes, baby diapers, everything except for clothes, because on the way down to Buttonwood, you can drop the clothes off at the Kiwanis, because Eric Tibbs and that group, they're collecting clothes and they're giving them out for free, because a lot of people need clothes because they left the area with nothing but the clothes on their back. It's crazy. It's crazy. And so you can just drop off clothes there, or you can mail them to the address that we gave you earlier, which we'll post on our website. And you can drop all these supplies off at the address 820 Buttonwood. There's going to be somebody there 10 to 4. The only thing they ask is if you're going to bring giant loads of things that are really heavy, that you want to call ahead so that they're prepared to help you to unload it. It's going to be the pickup point and the drop-off point. It's going to be 3,500 square feet of stuff, water and Gatorade and meals that are easy to eat, and sunscreen and all the stuff that we were talking about. Battery chargers are a big thing. I think they're still a big thing. So keep that in mind. 820 Buttonwood, starting tomorrow, 10 to 4. Somebody will always be there. Then they'll figure out a way. Dan has figured out a way to get the supplies.
Okay, now before you
to
go,
the other
you
folks.
updates in. You're filibustering me here now.
Hear you.
All right. So I want to mention a couple other FEMA on their tweet had a list for volunteer opportunities, because people have been asking about that. You can go on their site. You can go to nvoad.org, and they have a list of trusted agencies who you can volunteer with. And also, in addition to the legal services that you were mentioning, there's also disaster legal services hotline, 866-550-2929. Now, this is going to connect survivors to free legal services in qualifying counties for people who can't afford an attorney. So that's 866-550-2929. And then you mentioned about the Red Cross .org. If you need help, get a hold of them at 1-800-RED-CROSS. And there's still 3 shelters open at Estero Rec Center, Hertz Arena, and South Fort Myers High. And they did also have on the FEMA site that they're going to be going to shelters to help people file claims, and then they'll be going door to door. So that's what I read on their site.
All righty. You sure you got all your updates in there? I don't want you
Well,
to be mad.
I tried to rush.
I'm trying to figure out how to pull this up here,
You
because
know,
we have to do a screen share.
the thing is, we
Yeah,
worked
you
this
must-
out.
Yeah, well, you
now
put-
you messed
the
it
thing
up.
is that you put YouTube on a different web browser, and it's not showing up here. So you really should leave all of that to me.
So disasterassistance.gov, that's the FEMA one.
Where's the website here? You we're on YouTube here, so why don't you type in where are we looking for your YouTube here?
If you go to that other one, you have
We
to.
can't. Oh, I guess go ahead. You read, and
do.
I'll see if I can.
Let's see. Oh, for donations, it's Edward-Ryan-14. We've gotten that all straightened out with getting the cheaters out of there and the people that are posing. I was going up. I will just talk about this as we're going. It was my first time. Hold up. It was my first time in a helicopter. So the pilot, I think his name was, I'm going to forget, Brian. He said, well, please don't sit behind me. And I said, all right, why? And he said, well, because often first time flyers, if they get sick, they're going to throw up, and I don't want to get thrown up on. And we had the choice of having the doors off, and it's a helicopter, but it's a 4-seater. And, it's not, I mean, it's roomy, but not roomy, And so I was like, I don't know, about having the doors off, because you stick your arm out, you're going to lose your stuff.
Not playing any sound so that you can describe what we're seeing here.
Right.
So
this
here we
is
are
the
in a helicopter.
this is the north end of, this is Bowditch. It's heading from Bowditch down. So is there any way you can pause it as you go?
Okay.
So, you're seeing like the pink shell, and you guys, are going to know. I think just pause it for a minute. One of the things, it's hard for me as you're going, because I'm videoing, it's going fast, and things don't look the same. I think keep going.
Okay. Go ahead.
So, and you can see the water is not good. I mean, we went over by the Sanibel Causeway. That was a hot mess too. So you're coming on down, seeing the hotels that are on the north end that are still standing, but they're damaged. I mean, they're standing, but there's damage. But if you stop right there, you can see, or not, you can see that there's just open spots along, like right there. I don't know what was there before. But it's not there now. And keep going. You'll see.
If anybody knows what was there. Many people are going to type in now because they know what was there. It looks like, I wonder if that thing right there, is that like one thing that was left standing, or is that something that somebody put there? Interesting.
Yeah. So you're going to come up and keep it the other way. It's better. And so coming up there's an empty spot there. Moss Marine is coming up. You'll see that in the back. I zoom in right there. The back of that is blown off.
There, yeah.
Get ready to stop, because you're going to come up on Times Square. So there you go. That, I believe, was Lynn Hall Park.
Yeah.
And you're going to
Completely
have
gone.
to
So
really go.
Is the building
I
gone
didn't
too?
see it. I see it. Yeah. I mean, you got to click fast when you stop, because you're going quick. It's not there.
Right.
Oh, they're right there in the corner.
Yeah.
But now you're going to really have to click stop. So there's the pier. But if you go back a half second, you'll see it's a little bit zoomed in. And right there is Times Square, what's left. I mean, it's just completely devastated. And I wanted to get the pier. You can see, I mean, part of the pier, pylons are there.
Crazy.
But and then it goes on down. You'll see
That's Margaritaville.
Yep.
Still standing.
See, there's right there, back there. So that was where Shuckers was, right before that, right? Yeah. So right there. I mean, look at how much space is there now.
Everything there is missing.
You want to, as you keep in mind, to look across at the bay too, because the side streets just, look at how much oceanfront Gulfront property now. It's so open. See Diamond Head. When you come up, so you got to because you're going to come up on Red Coconut, and look at that. There's just nothing there all the way across. There's one part where there's a building kind of sideways towards okay, there you go. I believe this is what that mobile home park for Red Coconut was.
Across the street,
yeah,
right there.
Like there. I mean, there's just nothing there on either side of Estero Boulevard.
Yeah, that area looks like it was wiped out.
A
lot of muck all over everything.
Yep. And then, you'll see some buildings, but these buildings,
you can see all the buildings. Even the houses here that are standing, but there were nothing in there. Everything was blown out.
Yeah. I believe that's the church.
We just passed the church.
Yeah, I believe that blue top building, that blue roof.
The Beach Baptist Church?
Yeah. Nothing. All the way down the street. I mean, it's just crazy. There's just huge sections where it's just everything's missing. Look at that.
April says her house is on Denora next to Red Coconut. I wonder how that fared.
Cindy was commenting there was a part of the condo building just got picked up and moved sideways, and it was touching the beach. touching the water. It's just, I mean, look at that. Look at all of that.
Well, the beach renourishment that was $32 million would have been a bargain compared to what's going to need to be done here.
I mean, it's just tons and tons. I can't see where that is.
Look at you with your zooming in, zooming out. You couldn't just
Well, it was, once you start getting to the south end, I wish I can't see where that.
okay, blame
that
it on
was.
me. All I'm doing is sitting here playing your
Well,
video. You were up there.
You keep pulling it. Still some lagoons.
Did you go by where the proposed dune walkover would have been?
Yeah.
Is we up to
There it
that
is.
yet?
Right there.
Wow.
Look at that sideways.
Are they saying is that Leonardo Arms? Or no, they couldn't have moved the building like that. It's got to be Leonardo Arms, right? Because that's the only one that's out in the corner like that.
It looks not like it's supposed
Yeah,
to
I
be
think
there,
that would
though.
have been the parking lot. Looks like the sandbags are still there, so I'm guessing that's Leonardo Arms. Somebody will know that for sure. Yeah, that's what that looks like.
I don't
Shattered
know.
windows. Looks like a bomb hit that one. And for anyone that's been following along with the dune walkover, Eddie Rude and Kurt Cromer. Kurt lost his house, 100% loss from the storm. Is it connected now? It's nearly connected. Do you think it'll stay that way, or we're in the?
It change,
Yeah.
but it change like that. It's just crazy.
Yes, it is. They're saying it is Leonardo Arms. I don't know if anyone saw the video that's on. I think it's on
There's
Facebook.
Place tour. And then I have another video. We didn't upload it where we swing around and go into the back bay. But if you can just, let's see, stop it there. Probably
Where your finger goes
yeah.
across the camera like that.
So as you look across on the back bay side, there's all those little islands. And we flew over a lot of them. And there are just boats on these uninhabited islands that are just must have gotten obviously pushed from somewhere, just boat after boat after boat stacked up there. So
Thank you, Jenny.
there's also on the Beach Talk Radio Light page is the video of the Sanibel Causeway. And that was a shocker for me too, because I remembered seeing the picture of the one section that was down, but now there's just
I wonder if there's
huge sections where the water's just now connected.
I know
and it
you
just goes between.
I know you people probably want to go to bed or something, but I really do want to show you the beach, the Sanibel, the shot at the Sanibel Causeway. I don't think people have seen what you saw in the helicopter today. See if I comes up over the Sanibel Bridge.
It's the one we just saw.
Oh.
You're not listening to me.
All right, is this the one?
It must be. Yep. And you can move it along a little bit.
All right, so we're gonna try and people can tune us out if they don't want to watch the videos. I know you feel like
Well, you want
it's
to
got to
get
be
to
a certain
the
time. All right, I'm gonna before I share it.
There.
All right, here we go. You got to see. We've basically now maybe some of you have seen this, but we've basically seen that one section of the Sanibel Causeway, like at the front, and it's really 10 times worse than that. So I'm gonna try and see if I can pull this up here so you can see.
You're doing a great job. Too.
Oh, please patronize me like that. Can they see this? Not yet. Let's see if I can make it bigger somehow. There we go.
So you can see right there. I mean, it's open.
Yeah, that is the bridge. That's crazy. Let me back it up a little bit so we could see it from there. All right. Now go ahead.
Well, you missed the shot before. It was a little long, but there you go. So the bridge is now down.
It was breached
And
in
now-
5 different places.
There's that. And then it continues, you see just pavement.
That And when they said that they think that might be open in a year, after looking at this video today, I was like, are they crazy? How are they
And
going
then
to
you're
fix that?
coming up on I believe this is the first spot, there it's zooming in so people can see it.
Yes, Gail, that's crazy. We'll talk
you can
about that
make it
after.
bigger.
I can't make it bigger.
Yeah, that's the one we first saw. But the rest of them, it's just, and you can see the pavement is all heaved up and down and gone, and there'll be another opening coming up right there. I mean, I don't know where the road is, but it's not there. It's there on the other side. So I don't know how many I think they said there's 5 locations. But yeah, it's crazy. And then we flew over Sanibel, which the houses, I'm sure they're very damaged, but there's quite a few still standing, and there's a picture of the lighthouse on there too, which was so poignant. The end of the
Yeah, that spot
Sanibel.
right there is basically the spot that everyone's been saying because they haven't been letting anybody across.
And then
So-
this continues on to fly over to Sanibel. But can you pop up that picture on the page or no?
What picture?
Of the
Of what?
of the lighthouse. It's on my page.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Can you set me up before the show starts so I know what you want me to pull up? So it
Sorry.
looks like a well-oiled machine here. Yeah, the Yucatan. I wish I had a picture of that too, because the Yucatan Indian that was sitting out front. I don't know who I was talking to, but the day of the storm, I went out with the video,
Wasn't
did the
it Dave?
video, and I went out and just walking around, and I went into the Yucatan. It was one of only 2 places open. The other one was on the other end of the island at Leaky Tiki. And I just sat down. I had a beer with a couple of people that were wondering if they could ride out the storm. And, then next thing you know, the water is above SOB and it's wiping things out. Well, that Indian in front of the Yucatan wound up all the way by the yacht services club, which was like
So
it
down
was
the
David
street,
Dorsey I
down.
was talking to. Yeah, down the street, over the water, over by the yacht club area, which was crazy.
So, Luann, we'll try to get them all posted in one spot again. I am not good with I'm good with doing the adventure. I'm not good with posting the adventure for anything. And certainly
yeah.
this is not.
This is really fun. You've actually went to
I
recorded
actually
it on your phone with remember to turn
Yep,
hit,
press play.
record, and then you uploaded it. I still have a video of the bike ride that I took the day after the storm down Estero Boulevard, and I haven't been able to upload that. But we finally, I don't know if you guys noticed it, we have our high-speed Wi-Fi back, so we hopefully had good picture and good video.
Of riding with Dan, where he's kind of narrating everything, and I
get
think
those
they'll
up,
be
yeah.
really.
So we'll be able to share those along the next few days, along with our guests. We don't want to make this show 2-hour show like it used to be. So just remember that you cannot get over to Fort Myers Beach as of yet. They're still doing the search and rescue. If you're worried about your house being broken into by the search and rescue teams, they don't do that. They do it with a lot of care. And your house is going to be it's going to be in the condition that it is now. It's not going to be ransacked by anybody that's looking. And the other thing is, if you need an attorney for your FEMA application, just send me an email and I will send you Lenore's contact information. And remember also that the drop off and pickup point for all the supplies now, other than the clothes, is going to be at 820 Buttonwood, and there will be somebody there to take it from you, and they will take it from there to deliver it. Always could use supplies. Our grand total right now is $116,000 that you've all contributed. Keep spreading the word. It's going to take a lot more than that, and we're going to be
200 from my aunt in Utah. Thank you, Chris.
ding, ding, ding. And we're going to be partnering up with the community. We are partnering up with the Community Foundation and the Women's Club, and you are going to be able to apply for actual money by going to a simple website that I'm going to post after the show is over on the Facebook page. So if you know anybody that needs money to get by this month, I think it's going to be $500 per person and $1,000 a household or something like that. I know that the clubs are, those organizations are working it out. We can raise money. We're not money administrators. We are still going to have some of the funds to go out and buy supplies if people need them. We love giving people clothing that they need for their kids and things like that. So please keep spreading the love and spreading the word about the Venmo page and the PayPal page.
I will say too, we have one of the beach residents in the shelter, I believe, they were asking for stuff, and it was a size 15 shoe. And yeah,
It's a big foot.
we went to a couple of stores and they were like, good luck with that. So if anyone knows or has that they can share, let us know and we'll
I
get
don't
that
know.
gentleman's
I don't know
juice.
the answer to that, Diane. I think I did hear at least one story of somebody that was pulled out alive. And, you know, you hope for the best. Every day that goes by, it's less likely. I think that unfortunately the numbers are probably going to be higher than people think. We all know somebody, it seems like, that passed away in the storm, but I'm sure we'll get a final count at some point when they're finished. I think the number that the count I heard on CNN maybe was 81 countywide so
Right.
far. So we'll see. But we'll keep trying to help out. And thank you all for contributing to the fund. And thank you all for tuning in. And thank you all for sticking it out. And we'll be back tomorrow night at 6 o'clock with the latest updates on the hurricane recovery here in Fort Myers. We'll
You
keep the
took up that
comments up a little
extra-
while.
You took that extra 16 minutes. We could have wrapped it up.
Keep the comments up for a little while, but you guys have a great night and we appreciate you all very much. Bye-bye.